Y'all know this video is long overdue, right?
If it wasn't for Tony, oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a topic that I've talked about before, but I feel like I need to go deeper into this. It's long overdue. Y'all already know what I'm talking about if you see the title. And, you know, I made a video about this before, but I was trying to be diplomatic about it. But this time, I'm going to be more blunt, more straightforward, and just get to the point, you know, and try to stay for the whole video because, you know, I look at my analytics. Try to stay for the whole video because I'm going to break it down from my perspective. And I feel like a lot of y'all will agree with me, you know. And it's about the whole Aaliyah Beyonce debate. It's 2020. We still talk about this, but that just goes to show Aaliyah's relevance and popularity even all these years later. Even when her legacy is not in the best place, the conversation, the debates is still going. Next year makes 20 years, and you know people are still talking about this, commenting, debating. And basically, what prompted this is I looked at this clip right here.
What's up? What's up? This is Beyonce on the red carpet with one of the hottest female artists out here, Miss Aaliyah. How you doing, girl?
It's so good to see you again.
You too. She's just looking fabulous.
Thank
what are you
you.
wearing tonight?
I'm wearing Gucci shoes, Gucci. Got a little Indian jewelry working.
Oh, that is hot.
Thank
All right.
you.
Now you've been working it with these movies. Were you nervous?
I looked at that clip. I went through the comments and I was reading the comments and people was debating back and forth and people making jokes and people, oh, Aaliyah's face looked better, but Beyonce had a better body, this and that, and people was making fun of Beyonce's ramen noodle hair, and it was like a toss-up back and forth. You know, the Beyonce fans get too defensive. Oh, it was, some of them was even making plain jokes, deaf jokes, and people was talking about this and that, and it's just like, I'm here to settle it once and for all, from my perspective, right? Usually I talk off the top of my head in these videos, but it was so much I had to get down, I had to write it down so I didn't forget nothing. So basically, I wanted to say that the year was 2000, right? And people was like, and here's the thing about oh, if Aaliyah was alive, Beyonce would be working at McDonald's. Beyonce wouldn't be popular. Oh, Beyonce would have had competition. Oh, here's my thing with that. Let's go back to that interview. The year was 2000, right? Aaliyah had just had a corresponding hit, Try Again, off the movie soundtrack from a movie she was on, Romeo Must Die, which did really good in the box office. #1 movie, #1 song. That song broke airplay records, and it was rumored and it was out there that Aaliyah was looking into more movie roles, like Queen of the Dam at that time, right? And she was becoming big in Hollywood. She was already big in music. She was becoming big in Hollywood. And you can genuinely see that Beyonce was a fan. One of the hottest artists out here. Miss Aaliyah, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can see she was a fan, and they were fans of each other. And it was a genuine camaraderie, you know? People tried to make it seem like, oh, they were shading each other, or Aaliyah was uncomfortable, Beyonce was being fake. It was just, Beyonce is on the carpet, she got a teleprompter, she got to interview Aaliyah about her career. It's like a quick 30-second boom, 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 right? It might be a little awkward, all the cameras, all the noise, all the people behind them, everything like that. People made it such a thing. I'm like, And another thing I want to talk about is, people were saying, oh, y'all got to realize, this was the year 2000. Beyonce solo was not really prominent. You know, Beyonce as a solo artist and solo personality wasn't prominent, wasn't popular, wasn't known. Nobody knew Beyonce like that outside of Destiny's Child. She was just the lead singer of Destiny's Child. There was no Beehive in the year 2000. I'm gonna give y'all another example because people seem to be like, oh, a lot of people say, oh, Destiny's Child was outselling. That's like the immediate response. Destiny's Child was outselling. But you gotta realize, they didn't really release music at the same time except for the year 2001, and we all know what happened in that year, right? Look at it like this: T-Bars and not TLC, Chili and not TLC. You see in T-Bars by herself, but you don't see Lisa Chili. You see in Chili by herself, you don't see T-Bars and Left Eye. It's a different aspect, you know? When you see all three of them together, it's TLC. But if you just saw T-Bars by herself, it wouldn't have that same appeal. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying. That's how it was for Beyonce in the year 2000. You know, she didn't go solo yet. And another thing is, Destiny's Child, you can see Their first album didn't really do that well. People don't talk about that. But Destiny's Child first album with the No 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 with Wyclef Jean, that album didn't really do that well. It wasn't until their next one with Say My Name and Bills, 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 that those songs that really upped their game. You know, that was real big on MTV, BET, the radio. They even won a VMA for Say My Name. That was what really got them going, and they started selling a lot, and they started getting more popularity. And if y'all really know, they were selling more than Aaliyah. Aaliyah was on a shitty label. We already know that, Black on Records. Aaliyah's uncle right now made all this confusion and legal frustration and legal hassle with her music right now in 2020. Imagine what he was doing when he was running the label. Aaliyah was not in the best label. Aaliyah could have had more success. She could have had more number one. Her album could have debuted with better sales. And if the promotion and the rollout was right for her last album, I feel like Aaliyah would still be alive today. But you know, that's a whole nother video. Another thing I gotta realize is Destiny's Child had Beyonce's father as their manager. Beyonce's father and Aaliyah's uncle, two different spectrums of the industry, two different business minds. You see, the business mind Matthew Knowles had was going to get Destiny's Child up there. The hard work and their music was good, so that was a plus, right? But this is a business. You can make the best songs, but they won't go number one. They won't do good on the radio. You got to have a business mind. You got to have negotiating skills. That's what Matthew Knowles had. Aaliyah's uncle didn't really have that. So that, and they was on a good label. Black on Records, I could go on and on about how dysfunctional that label was, and there's a reason why it's defunct now today. Like, it's not, the label doesn't even really exist. Like, it's not even running. And JoJo and all these other artists got problems, just like Aaliyah. Y'all gotta understand that their popularity and their success, and Matthew Knowles being their manager, that propelled them, you know. So when people say, "Oh, they was outside Aaliyah," it's not that black or white. Another example is, y'all know the iconic Proud Family theme song with it's Solange featuring Destiny's Child. Matthew Knowles set that up. He wanted Solange to be a part of the group. He wanted Solange to branch out as her own artist. So he had it in his business mind. He negotiated it to where Solange was the lead singer. Destiny's Child was singing back up to her. That's the type of mind. That's the type of business mind Matthew Knowles had. He had a business mind Aaliyah's uncle could only dream of. You see what I'm saying? Even all these years later, that theme song is still iconic with Solange as the lead, not Destiny's Child. Another thing people don't realize is that Aaliyah was a veteran in the industry. By 2000, Aaliyah was a veteran, and Destiny's Child was still newbies. And I feel like Aaliyah took on like that bigger sister, bigger cousin type role, like the older cousin who was a veteran, who, you know, she hipped them up on game and stuff like that, and she gave them pointers. She even helped them with their Get on the Bus music video. And she was just cool like that. Now, they were cool and stuff whenever they ran into each other, but I don't think they were that close, because none of them even went to Destiny's Child. None of them even went to Aaliyah's funeral, and that tells a lot right there. And you know, people be, you know, they're busy, they got this and that, but a lot of big stars stopped what they had to do and went to Aaliyah's funeral. None of them were there, so I don't think they were that close, but they were cordial with each other. I feel like, you know, eventually they would have worked with each other. Another thing is, Aaliyah was so humble, down to earth. She was the one, when they went through all that stuff, they went through all that trouble with Destiny's Child. LaToya Luckett has an interview where she talks about how Aaliyah was the only one in the industry that called her and checked on her to see how she was doing. Same thing like with Toni Braxton with the bankruptcy. Aaliyah checked on her. Just Aaliyah was a humble person. She was just like, Aaliyah was rare in the industry. She wasn't just like oh hey girl, hey, see you at an event, see you at a award show, and never talk to you outside of that. She really cared about people. She was a real caring person. And you know, just the back and forth that people have with Aaliyah and Beyonce, it just like, it's toxic. And I can't lie, I participated in it once upon a time. But as you get older, as I got wiser, I'm like, you know, I don't argue back with people in comments no more. I make videos now. So this is what I'm doing. Aaliyah came from an era where she paved the way for the teenage R&B singers, especially like the females, and you know, the woman. And because thought about it, before Aaliyah, what 14-year-old girl, you know, 14, 15-year-old girl, you know, was singing about love and having big songs on the radio? Brandy even has an interview saying Aaliyah paved the way. Like before, like Aaliyah made it known as okay, women can be successful teenage. Not even like they were 17, 18 when they came out. Aaliyah was 15 when she came out. She recorded the songs at 14. Aaliyah really set a trend. She really set the bar. People don't give her credit for that. Because before you think about it, it's like it was male R&B artists that were teenagers. You had Usher, Tevin Campbell, but it wasn't no female. Aaliyah was like the first one of that 90s, early 90s era to really come out and be successful. And Brady says that, people don't give her credit for that. Let's get to the nitty gritty behind the whole Aaliyah Beyonce debate. The question of would Beyonce be Beyonce if Aaliyah was still alive? Would Aaliyah have been the biggest competition of Beyonce's career? My answer to that is, I feel like my answer to that is Beyonce would still be where she is today, right? But would Aaliyah have been her biggest competition? My answer to that is like a yes and a no. Yes, but I feel like it would have been a healthy competition. It wouldn't have been no, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj type of situation. It would have been like a, indirect competition. Because like I said, like Aaliyah said, she was in competition with herself. There was no competitive like, oh, Beyonce got a number one. Okay, what's the biggest song? Let's push this song to get Beyonce off the charts. Oh, Aaliyah got a number one. Okay, let's put Crazy in Love out to get Aaliyah off the charts. It would have been a healthy competition. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been no like, oh, the battle of who could get the biggest hits, who could get the most Grammys, who could get the number one, who could stay at number one for the longest amount of weeks. It would have been a healthy competition, because believe it or not, Ashanti was Beyonce's biggest competition at one point. When Ashanti released her album in 2003, she knocked Beyonce's Dangerously in Love off the charts. And when Beyonce first came out as a solo artist, they were saying Beyonce is no Ashanti, basically saying like Ashanti was the better artist. And look what happened all these years later. If Ashanti was Beyonce's competition, I feel like Aaliyah would have been competition, but it would have been healthy competition. And then I say no because it's like Aaliyah didn't chase charts. She didn't chase number ones. She was real modest. She was real humble about winning awards. That stuff, deep down inside, you want to win Grammys, you want to win awards, you want to win VMAs, you want to get number ones. But Aaliyah didn't live for that. You know what I'm saying? She was just like, oh, okay. I remember it was an interview where Missy Timbaland and Aaliyah was at the Soul Train Awards. They got nominated for One in a Million, but they didn't win, right? And Missy and Timbaland was so mad and upset. And Aaliyah was just like, all right, it's all right. Where y'all want to go eat at after the show? Like, that type of stuff didn't really bother her like that. She never really let that get to her. So that's another reason why I say like she would have been competition, but I don't think it would have been on that level of Beyonce or Aaliyah, Beyonce or Aaliyah, Beyonce or Aaliyah, because Aaliyah never really chased the charts like that. This is a question I posed to y'all. Aaliyah came out in 1994. She was 15, right? Destiny's Child came out a few years later. They was like 16, 17. Beyonce used Destiny's Child as a training. She was the lead singer. They had a heavy boot camp and all that. And as a solo artist, she had to get used to not having Kelly and Michelle and the rest of them next to her. But Destiny's Child was Beyonce's training. Do y'all think Aaliyah came out in 1994, 1996, AJ Nothing But a Number, One in a Million. She was successful, double platinum. Do y'all think Beyonce would have been successful if she came out solo in the 90s? Like, say 1996, Aaliyah released One in a Million. Beyonce would have been like around 15, like Aaliyah was when she first came out. Beyonce in 1996, at age 15, releasing an album. Do y'all think she would have been successful? Be honest. Do y'all think it would have been successful? I don't think it would have been. That's why she was in the group. The group molded her to be the front and center of attention. So when she debuted all these years later, in 2003, she already had it. She had the training. She had the stage presence. She had the vocal training. She had it all. Like, now it was just all attention on her. It wasn't just divided into threes. It was just Beyonce, front and stage. Let me show you what I can do. Let me show you how I can sing. So that's a food for thought. Do y'all think Beyonce would have been successful as a solo artist in the 90s like Aaliyah was? As far as the singing aspect, because people, and it's so easy for people to say, oh, yeah, I know Beyonce was a better singer than Aaliyah. And I get that in the sense of Aaliyah wasn't that type of show-off vocalist. She wasn't a powerful vocalist. She wasn't the type of vocalist to lead a choir. You know, Patti LaBelle is getting the tribute. They're not going to get Aaliyah to sing the tribute. I get that aspect. But I take it in strides of like, Aaliyah was more smooth. Beyonce was more powerful and fierce. You know what I'm saying? And they each had a singing style, and they used that in their music. Aaliyah could take it there if she wanted to. Now, it might not have been as powerful as Whitney Houston, but people have said she could take it there, but she didn't want to do that for her music. Beyonce, out the gate, ever since Destiny's Child, it was about power, vocals, showing you all the runs and riffs she could do. So, you know, in the hearts of hearts, people would like to hear that. People might say it's over the top, but people like to hear that. And with Aaliyah, it's soft and subdued. And people, when you compare that type of singing to Beyonce's type of singing, it's easy to see like, oh, get that out of here. That's whisper singing. Nobody want to listen to that. Oh, she can't really compete with the real vocalist. Oh, Beyonce, get on stage and do some runs for me. You know, that's the type of attitude people got. But I feel like they each had their own signatures. They each had their own signature styles, and they use that in their music. I can't see Aaliyah singing Single Ladies or Deja Vu, just like I can't see Beyonce singing Try Again or Are You That Somebody. They each had their signature style in their vocals, and it worked for them to their advantage, you know? As far as their styles, I've seen some, I feel like I've seen this and I say, okay, somebody said that Aaliyah's singing was like a step above Sierra, a step below Mariah Carey. Like she fell right in the middle between them. And I'm like, I can see that. And they also said her music and her style was like a blend of Mary J. Blige, Sade, and Janet. And to me, that makes sense too. For Beyonce, her style, her thing was like Tina Turner, Michael Jackson, that type of hard-hitting, heavy, boom, boom, boom. But she could take it there. She could do slow, seductive songs. She could do the fair songs. She could do the dance songs. Aaliyah could do it. She could do that too. Aaliyah could do that too, but it was at a more smooth, softer level, you know? And here's the thing, I feel like Aaliyah and Beyonce would have been best friends. I feel like they would have collaborated, and I feel like they could have took stuff from each other because, let's be honest, Beyonce is not the most articulate, and I feel like she could have used more media training, especially in her earlier years. Even now, she's so seclusive and so standoffish that she built this thing up to where it's like, if you see Beyonce's in Target, it's a big deal. You see Rihanna at Target. Rihanna has worked her way up to be just as popular and even as successful as Beyonce. But Rihanna has a more relatable thing, just like I felt Aaliyah has. You know, you see Beyonce at Target, it's like a big deal because she sets herself up to be like, oh my God, like she's like a otherworldly, you know? Almost to the point where it's like nobody can relate to her. Everything she does now is so robotic. And even back then, it's like when she talks, public speaking is not her best suit. I feel like that's where Aaliyah excelled. She was down to earth, smooth. She was down to earth, articulate. And every time she spoke, you was just entranced. With Beyonce, it's kind of cringeworthy. I feel like Beyonce could have taken tips from Aaliyah with media training and speaking in public. With Aaliyah taking something from Beyonce, I feel like Aaliyah could have took tips and things like that from like performing on stage, performing live. You know, Aaliyah's performances right now, you look back at them, they were either hit or miss. Some of the songs, especially the ones Timbaland produced for her, they were hard to translate into a live performance. So when she performed it, sometimes she would sound shaky. Sometimes she wouldn't do the choreography full out. The background dancers would be doing a little bit harder. And people look at that now in 2020 standards, and it's like, oh my God, she's not even trying. Oh my God, she's a horrible live performer. Oh, her voice is horrible. Oh, she's singing too deep. I feel like if Aaliyah had the team, the creative team, the choreographers, and you know, Fatima was dope, but I'm talking about on live, performing live. If Aaliyah had the type of team Beyonce had when it came to conducting live performances, I feel like she would excel as a live performer. That's one thing you can't take from Beyonce. She's an amazing live performer as far as the dancing, vocals, the whole spectacle of the show. Who knows? Aaliyah could have got with the right people, different type of people. She could have been giving us performances like Pink, Cirque du Soleil, spinning in the air while she's singing. We will never know. But for what it was at that time, Aaliyah still had to work out her live performance technicalities. She still had to work out how to be the best live performer because, you know, I'm the biggest Aaliyah fan, but I can admit she was not the best live performer. But many instances she was, and she showed her vocals, she showed her dance abilities, and she did what she could. If she had a better team around her, not only a better label, but she had a better team as far as like going on tour, doing performances. Because as time went on, live performance is a bigger part of your artistry. You can't. People come to a tour, people come to a performance. You don't want to be known as a studio singer or the one that can't sing. You sound good on the radio, but people see you in person as whack. You know what I'm saying? With Aaliyah, it was like a hit or miss, and I feel like that's where Aaliyah could have benefited from. Having a team like Beyonce when it came to that. So in the end, I want to say, I feel like Beyonce would still be Beyonce, and Aaliyah, even if Aaliyah was at top in the charts and selling millions of records a week like Taylor Swift, she would still be on top of the Forbes list charts, if you know what I mean. Aaliyah would have her own business. She would have her own empire, just like Rihanna. I feel like Beyonce would still be where she is, and I feel like Aaliyah would be enjoying the fruits of her label. You know what I'm saying? All this time later, Aaliyah would have done multiple projects, multiple movies, multiple albums. I feel like she would have got some Grammys, some Emmy, maybe even Oscar nominations, and she would just be chilling. She would have kids, she would be married, she would be living nice. Like other artists, in her caliber, like people say she would be like Brandy and Monica. I feel like, instead of Brandy and Monica, she would be more in the essence of like a J-Lo, Rihanna type realm, if you know what I mean. Like right now, Aaliyah would just be doing it for fun. If it didn't go number one, if it didn't go top 10, oh well, it is what it is. The fans would still enjoy it, people would still enjoy it, the radio might still play it, and it would be what it would have been. But I feel like Aaliyah would have built up her empire with, fashion, clothing, perfume, video games, all type of stuff Aaliyah was working on before she passed. Movies, TV shows, everything like that. She would have had her empire. She would have built her empire, and she would be chilling. That's how I feel Aaliyah would be today. And Beyonce would still be like she is. So, what do you guys think about that? What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all think Beyonce and Aaliyah would have worked together? How do y'all think the trajectory of their careers would have been had Aaliyah still been alive? Would Aaliyah have been that competition? So basically, that's just my whole breakdown on the Aaliyah-Beyonce debate. If Aaliyah was alive, Beyonce would be ... Where do you guys stand with that? If Aaliyah was alive, where do you think Beyonce would be? Do you think Aaliyah would have been the biggest competition, or do you think it would have been like a healthy competition, just like the other artists in the industry? I feel like they would have been like how Beyonce and Rihanna are now. Equals. It wouldn't have been like one is supreme, the other one is better, this one did better. It would have been just like an equal footing, healthy competition type of thing. And do you guys think Beyonce and Aaliyah would have worked together? I feel like they would have. I'm anticipating this comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Let's talk about it down below in the comments. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.